going to play. This is an extremely low budget to no budget experiment that we've got going on. I'm not a huge technique person, as you know, not aside from like oxide ink blending or something fun. I don't generally make a lot of my own backgrounds. I prefer pattern papers. It's just a personal preference. But I do think that the alcohol ink trend that's going on right now, or that's back, is really fun and pretty. I've just never liked it enough to actually invest any real cash in any of the supplies, because I have quite enough other stuff and quite enough stuff to do as it is. I'm just going to move this out of the way as we're talking because I see it's in the screen here. Anyway, but that doesn't mean that I haven't wanted to try it. I just haven't wanted to invest any money in it. So we were at the town transfer station yesterday, my family, just dropping off the trash and recyclables for the week. We had a few things to leave in the give and take hut there, stuff that's still working. And I came across this package of Kodak picture paper. And I've always heard that Yupo paper that people use with the alcohol techniques is very similar to photo paper, and some people have actually used photo paper for some of the alcohol techniques. And it's just a partial package here. So I was like, you know, it's free. It's in the give and take building. I was like, oh, you know, I'll snag it and we'll give it a try. I don't have any really fun or interesting alcohol inks on hand because I never planned to do this, but what I do have on hand are my Spectrum Noir refills, and I have probably, I don't know, 10 different Spectrum Noir refills for my regular markers. And I've also heard rumor that these will work just fine for techniques as well. I don't know, I've never tried. So I'm thinking to myself, I've got faux Yupo paper and I've got some bottles of alcohol inks. Let's give it a try, right? So let me just tell you a little bit about what I have on hand. I do have the Kodak paper, picture paper for inkjet prints, 4 by 6 inches on hand. I do have it in this plastic bag because this packaging reeks. And I was trying to prevent some contaminating it of other stuff. I don't know. Yeah, the actual prints themselves smell. It smells like somebody spilled like a whole gallon of cinnamon oil. And look, it's even a little greasy on this package. It's an extremely strong cinnamon smell. And even this is kind of odored as well. But as you can see, they're not discolored. They're not ruined or anything. It's really smelly. So, and not even a bad smell. It's overwhelmingly cinnamon. So I had them in the little Ziploc here so it didn't contaminate the rest of my house. But I figured it's free and I'm just experimenting anyway. Why not give it a shot, right? So this is what I have, and again, my Spectrum Noir refills, and I pulled out all of those and I've kind of divided them by colors. I don't really have a lot of interesting colors going on. I have a flesh tone, and I have a light purple, a yellow. Let me kind of spread them out over here around me. Actually, I have some blue, ice blue, blue turquoise, another shade of blue turquoise, true blue. Oh, here's another yellow and another blue turquoise. So I don't have a huge variety. Oh, wait, there's more over here. And I have ice gray, 2 different shades of ice gray. It's not a huge variety, but I figured, again, for a low budget project. These Spectrum Noirs, I don't know if you're familiar with let me grab one right here, Spectrum Noir alcohol markers. This is what I use for my alcohol marker coloring. These are just the refills for them. I keep them in the boxes with the droppers. These droppers get clogged really fast and they're really difficult to use. So I actually don't even use the plastic droppers that come with a kit anymore. I use glass droppers that you can rinse out and that clean a lot better. So I actually use glass droppers with these. So I grabbed my packet of glass droppers. So let's get a couple of these and we'll just give them a rinse. I also use these for testing the water in our fish tank. Obviously, I don't use the same ones that I use for crafting. They go in separate parts of the house. Crafting ones stay over here. Once, you know, they'll get put away in my drawer, and fish tank ones go over with the fish tank chemicals in the kitchen. not anywhere around here. So to reiterate, I do not use these in my pet tank. I love my fishies. I would never do that. Okay. Also, what I did grab off my wall here, I do have my Spectrum Noir color chart just so that I can kind of, I'm sure that the pure concentrated color is going to look different than what I have colored out of the chart. But I figured, hey, it wouldn't hurt to know approximately what color you're grasping. I have a clean mug that I use for paint stuff, and I have some 91% isopropyl rubbing alcohol that I grabbed from our bathroom shelf. We obviously don't use it very often. The bottle is dingy. But this is what Jennifer Maguire was using with her techniques, was the 91%, so that's what I grabbed. And she poured some of that into her cup. And then I also have an old paintbrush that I don't care about that I will use in the technique. Jennifer Maguire used a straw. I don't have any straws. I don't have anything that I can use as a straw. I tried taking the guts out of a pen, trying to use the pen, and that wasn't working, and whatever. We're strawless. But safety first, however, because it is alcohol ink. I do have, I don't have a craft mat, and my Tim Holtz glass media mat isn't here yet. It's not going to be here till next month, even though I ordered it 6 months ago. Whole other story. So I just have a baking sheet that I've washi taped down to my wooden desk here, just to kind of protect the desk a little bit. I don't care too much about what happens to the surface of the desk, because someday we're going to refinish it anyway, but I just, to help keep it clean. It's a nice slick surface. You can see some of my washi tape doesn't want to stick on it. A great way to use up washi tape that you either don't really care for too much, or that you're sick of looking at. So like this Halloween one I never really cared too much for, and this flower one I really liked, but I've been using it for like 2 years. So just trying to use up a little washi tape. Also, I have my overlight headlight on. I normally don't when I'm filming because of the glare, but I figured this paper is covering up the part of the desk where the glare would strike you in the eye anyway. But also because if it helps me see a little bit better, to stay a little bit safer, then all for it. And hopefully there's not too much glare that's bothering you guys. And also ventilation. I have windows on either side of me and behind me that it's a beautiful day. It's gorgeous. It's nice and sunny. Oh, windows are all open. Nice fresh air in here. Lots of cross breeze going through. So fresh air. I don't have any safety glasses, but I do wear glasses normally, so I don't anticipate doing a lot of things that have stuff smacking me in the face. Something else that I don't have any alcohol blending solution, because again, I wasn't planning on doing this, and I haven't invested anything in it. I did find a couple of do-it-yourself recipes online. A lot of them use full strength antifreeze, like for your car. They looked kind of dangerous. And even the people that put it on their blogs have these huge disclaimers about, like, we're not responsible for it and so on and so forth. So if you Google it and do it, I'm not responsible for anything that you might do with it. But I personally would say no, don't do that. Some of these DIY stuff, when you're mixing chemicals, I'm just not comfortable with. Like, at some point you have to stop being so cheap and be like, all right, I'm just going to pay the $5 for the blending solution, because this is getting ridiculous. And I did think about doing it. I did go so far as to text my husband to ask him if we had any antifreeze, and I got a series of panic texts back from him, because apparently he's recently had some issues with his antifreeze and had to have something replaced on his car. I forgot all about it. This is how often our cars are broken. I completely forgot about this repair. So he thought, and I have his car today, so he thought I was implying that the car, I was broken down somewhere and having some problems. And I was like, no, just a craft thing, and I don't need it. I was just asking. So perhaps it's providence that we don't have any, because I would not be comfortable doing this kind of chemistry thing, and I don't recommend that you do either. So if you Google it, that's on you. But there are some DIY blending solution things. So I think that's pretty much everything that I had to cover right from the beginning here. I did just go ahead and rewatch a Jennifer Maguire video just to kind of try to remember what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. I have no idea. So we're going to go ahead and start with just pouring some of this alcohol into this cup. And I don't know how much I'm going to need. She used this kind of to help blend too. Let's see. I've got probably a good quarter of a cup of rubbing alcohol on the bottom of this cup. Oh, and I did grab some paper towel that I have off screen here to help in case I make any drips or whatever, and I'm wearing clothes that don't really matter, just in case. So I guess the best way to do this would be to just get started, right? Let's grab, I've got blue turquoise number 3 here. Let's grab this and give it a shot. We'll first try to see if the droppers, the plastic dropper that comes with it will work. Most of the time they don't. And I don't know if you can see it off camera, I just spilled a little bit. I'm very clumsy. I just got a little bit of the blue. There's like a washer in the cap here that fell off as I took off the cap, so I tried to put it back and then I made a mess. Let's see if this dropper will work. Yeah, this dropper's working a little bit, so let's see. Just kind of drop some. Again, this is not Yupo paper, this is photo paper that allegedly works kind of the same way. We'll see. I'll be the judge of that, I guess, maybe. I have 0 experience with Yupo paper as well, so who knows. Okay, I'm going to try to keep these bottles with the box that it came in. So that is blue turquoise 3. Let's try some blue turquoise 2. And in retrospect, I probably should have had the colors out of the bottle. We'll do that if we do another one. I'll have the colors prepared and out of the bottle first. So we have blue turquoise 3, or 2 now that I'm doing. And this one, the dropper is not picking it up. So we're going to have to use a glass one. Okay. Oops. No idea what I'm doing. My daughter will actually be kind of sad to miss this. I'll put the dropper right there. And then let's see. We don't have a straw. Let's put some plain alcohol on here and see if it does anything. Oh, it is. Maybe I just didn't put enough on there. Is that it? Now this is blue turquoise and the straight ink is obviously coming out more green. Let's see. Maybe I just didn't put enough on there. Let's try to move it around a little bit and see if it does anything. It's not really, but it's leaving really cool polka dots on the paper anyway. Oh, was that what the other thing that they said is that it dries really fast, so maybe that's why it just looks weird to me. Sort of like a... I've got some extra stuff on here. I don't know. Clean off that brush. I'm going to let this sit for a couple minutes and then I'll be back and we'll take a look at it. Hi there, welcome back. The paper took probably a good 2 minutes to finish drying, and it's maybe not dry 100% completely. It's still a little tacky, but it did dry pretty quick, and I think that's why I got these blobbies here, is because I should have been prepared better to put more of the ink on faster in order to do some techniques. But this is kind of a cool polka dotty type thing, and I didn't really have any issues. It did, while the ink, this overflow here on my mat was wet, I just wiped it off with some paper towel and it worked just fine. So this time, while this was drying, I got the next couple of bottles of ink already open and prepared so that we can just faster and put more of a quantity on the next piece of paper. So here we go. So this first color I thought that I would give a try is the Flesh 2, which I thought might be kind of pinky. Or reddish, I guess. Which is kind of cool. Closest thing that I have. And then I've got LY1, which is yellow, which is not working. So we need the dropper here. My goodness. Everything I do is just not not enough to prepare. Ooh, this, I don't really like the way that this yellow looks. The straight concentrate yellow. So, all right, so we've got a big blob of the yellow on here, and then lastly, I grabbed some blue, TB3 blue, put in the open spaces here and here and here. Obviously, it's becoming quite apparent to me that using your alcohol marker refills is a bit of a bad idea for obvious reasons. Here, let's get some alcohol splashed on, because the colors are not, you know, calibrated properly for this kind of a use. So let's swirl it a bit, kind of move it around a little bit, maybe blow. Ooh, that's cool. Kind of blow on it a little bit. Different, try to get different reactions in different spaces, and then let it settle. This could be kind of a almost like a galaxy background kind of thing. All right, that is pretty saturated. I'm going to pause this again and again get these droppers cleaned up while this is sitting and drying, and we'll time it and see how long this takes to get some kind of a dry. Oh, I'm sorry about the glare that you're getting. We'll give this a few minutes and we'll come back and take a look at it. I'm back. Not quite dry yet, but just a quick update. It was kind of pooling into muddy corners here, and it looked a little bit gross and a little bit too brown for me, so I thought that I would kind of trounce off some of the alcohol ink with some paper towel like I would if it was watercolor, and it made all the paper towel marks in the paper. So I figured, you know, it already like ruined that corner. I was like, well, I might as well just trounce the rest of the paper to put the paper towel marks on here. So it's still wet, so we're going to give it a few more minutes. So just a quick update. Hi there, I'm back. It's been about 10 minutes, and it's still wet. I think I over inked this one. I went to pick it up to move it aside to move on to something else, and all underneath was all covered in the ink, so I wiped that up, and in the process I got more on top here. It's pretty interesting, but it's not pretty, at least with the color combination that I chose. Again, these colors were not made to use like this, so I don't know if these were even attractive colors or an attractive color blend, if this particular background would be anything that I could save. We're going to set it aside and move on. Maybe it will continue to dry. I want to try one more, and this is a fresh, clean piece here. I have the hibiscus blue, which is actually a purple, and then I have true blue, so I thought with these two colors, let's see how these would look, and then I would try to not use as much. I have my droppers here, which during the break I washed. I know they're stained, but they are clean. I did wash them with hot soapy water and get all of the stuff off. The water is running clear. These are refills that I'm actively using in markers, so I don't want to do any cross-contamination or anything like that. Let's give it a try. So this hibiscus blue, which actually does color more of a purple, so I actually consider it more of a purple. In fact, I keep it with my purple color family, so I'm trying not to go as overboard with the color as I did on the last one. Let's do a little blue. Oops, there's already some left in here. And see how this goes. Trying to get some of the white spaces as well. But I wanted it to be more purple than blue. All right. I'm just kind of blowing on it a little bit. Ooh, that's pretty. Get some of the color to move around. Let's flick on some rubbing alcohol and move it around some more. Hopefully all this liquid will help cover the white spaces that I left. This is kind of funky. It's reminding me of some sort of like late 80s, early 90s dance leotard or something. Ooh, that's really pretty. This color, this particular color combination is really pretty. I'm sorry, I know I'm holding it at an awkward angle and you can't really see it. But look at that. The two, the glare, the two colors mixed together made this really fun electric purple type background. So I'm going to clean, I used not nearly as much as the last time, but I used too much alcohol ink. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and we're going to let this sit, and we're going to check in on it in a little bit. Hello, welcome back again. So here's that really fun kind of electric purple one. During the break, I did flick on just a little bit more rubbing alcohol because I thought it looked really cool. This one I really like. I think I over inked it, but I didn't ink it in just the right spaces enough to color the whole page. So this might be something that I'll just pick my favorite places and die cut little pieces out of it as I need it. But I really liked the way that the hibiscus blue and the true blue looked together. So I thought that I would do just one more, only with a lot less color to see how that works in those colors. Only this time I want to put the blue on first and see if that makes any difference. So here we go. Blue. I'm going to purposely take a bunch out of my dropper here so I'm not tempted to overuse it. And of course that's just not enough. A little bit more. This is kind of fun. I can see why people with real supplies spend a lot more time doing this. All right, and here's some of that. Oops, there's still some left in the dropper. It's turning out pink here. The actual Spectrum Noir color, again, is called Hibiscus Blue. Its color's more of a purple, so I keep it with my purple family. Okay, that is kind of what I wanted to do, just a couple of drops. And then see what happened when we moved them with the brush. I'm trying to be quick. It does dry quickly. Let's get a little bit more rubbing alcohol. These colors together are really fun though. Like I was saying earlier, it kind of reminds me of the 80s, that decade. This one is really cool. I really like the way that this background is turning out. I'm gonna just, I think, slap on a few more drops of alcohol and we're just gonna let this one sit and see how this dries. Okay, I'm gonna be back in a little bit again. Hi, I'm back. It's been about 5 minutes. This one's still wet, a little bit around the edges, but it's still okay to pick up. This is probably my favorite one so far. Again, we just used the two colors, that blue and that purplish pink. I really love the way that the initial droplets that I placed here on the paper that I didn't get to clean up far enough have sort of left a shadow of the color in the background here, so it looks almost like there's some intentional aqua in here. This one's really cool. I really like this one. I would like to do another one if that's okay with you guys and kind of play with it a little bit more. We'll do one more on camera here, and this time I thought I would try to incorporate some more yellow in again, and I accidentally made a little bit of a spill. I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of a yellow dab in here. I thought that I wanted to play with the yellow and the purple a little bit and see how that kind of see how that rolls, if you will, with the technique. This is reminding me of something, and I can't quite think of what it is. Let's see. So I'm just going to put some of this yellow on here. Again, I know that this is more of like a brownish gold, just because the particular thing that I'm using is designed to refill markers and not be used in the manner in which I'm using it. Let's get a little bit of the purple / pink on here. Just some drops. Do we want to bring any blue in here, or is this already too much? No, let's leave this like it is. And let's get that paintbrush out again. Because whatever I did the last time, I liked the way that it turned out. And I kind of just spread some colors, periodically cleaning off the brush and splashing more. I don't want to make mud, I don't want to over mix the colors. This one is, because I'm mixing like a red family and a yellow family, I'm getting some pretty oranges in here, and I think that's cool. And I think that's probably quite enough liquid on here. And I'm just blowing on it to move the colors around a bit. That's really funky. This one is also coming out like a neon, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm just gonna, unlike the last one where the color kind of pooled on the edges and I just let it sit, this one I'm kind of, if it's pooling, I'm just spreading it out a little bit more with the brush. But I don't want to put any more alcohol on here to make it any wetter than it already is. Let that dry just a little bit. So here's some pooled here. I'll just get that right off. All right, let's try a little bit more now that it's drying. Really cool. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Yeah, I'm starting to get a feel for this. I can see why people are having a blast with their alcohol inks. This one is also pretty funky. I will come back and let you know how this one goes, and I'll probably color a few more in the break. Hi there, welcome back. Some time has passed on and I actually went through the whole package of photo paper. So I have some things to show off with you. I've cleaned up a little bit since then. Some of these are still wet, so my plan was to show them off to you, and then I'm going to lay them out on my desk and leave them here for another hour or so to dry, and I'll check in on them later. But I thought I'd show off what we have so far. So again, just the evolution from the beginning. This is the, and they're sticking together a little bit. This is the first one that I did. It's okay, it's nothing special. Then I went on to this one and I overloaded with ink, and this one just, ugh, I don't even know if there's a usable section. I will save to die cut out of this one. I'm not a fan of this one. And then I kind of moved on and found this one. I think was the third one that I did. A little bit over inked, but I really liked the way that the colors kind of smooched together as I moved the paper. This one might be nice for a fun galaxy background or something. Lay these out. And then I kind of moved on a little bit and kind of found my groove and found the right amount of color for me with what I liked. This one I really liked the colors, the way that the orange, it made the pink and the yellow made kind of this nice dark orange. I'm not a huge fan. I think I over manipulated the color on this one with my paintbrush. I'm not a huge fan of the brush strokes on this one. I much prefer the ones like this one where it just, I moved it just enough and then splashed the dots of the plain rubbing alcohol on top of it to kind of make it just more dotted versus more brush stroked. Just a personal preference thing. I'm sure I'll still find a use for it. I really like this one, but it's not my favorite. I kept going and then I incorporated other colors. This was my attempt at a rainbow one, which didn't come out all that great, especially the edges on a lot of these. And I don't know if it's just because I'm not using Yupo paper, I'm using photo paper. It does kind of curl up a little bit as it's drying, and a lot of the ink kind of pools at the edge. So obviously I will cut, I will die cut out of this. But that one came out okay. This one was using the blue and the yellow. I like this one. Kind of reminds me of upholstery. And this one was using all the rainbow colors, but all more random instead of trying to divide it like this one. And I like the way that this one turned out. We've got kind of the aqua and the yellow kind of made this fun green one. We've got a couple of ones where I used some of the aqua and the blue, and I like the way that these ones came out. These ones I'm probably going to use as like an ocean background. I thought that would be fun. And let's see, this one is that pinkish purple and the aqua. This one's really pretty. I don't like how this corner didn't get any. This one's a little bit wetter, so my fingers are getting dirtier. Dirtier again as I make more of a mess. I don't like how it didn't you know, it didn't work all the way out here, but that's okay. I'll probably pick my favorite places and die cut out of there. Here's another one with the blue and the aqua, kind of an oceany look to it. And then the last one is more of that pink and aqua. Basically, ooh, another version of this color combination, but a different way that I put on there. So, so this was fun. Again, to reiterate, I'm not using any of the proper products. I'm just using basically things that I heard via rumor that work. I heard that photo paper would work in lieu of Yupo paper, and that if you didn't have any of like the Ranger alcohol inks that are specifically made for this kind of technique, that it's okay to use your ink refills from your alcohol markers. While it did work, and I was able to, once I figured out how the colors came out of the bottle, because they don't translate the same, they're concentrated differently when you're trying to use a straight drop of it versus in your marker. As I kind of got used to that, obviously you can see kind of the evolution of figuring that out, you know, these kind of, you know, overloaded beginning ones to the way that it ended up. I kind of got the hang of it, and I imagine that there's also a huge learning curve when you are using the actual supplies. But when you're using things the way that they're not supposed to be used, I think there's even more of a learning curve. So what I took from this is that yes, you can do that, but it's probably not ideal, and it's probably not the most effective use of your refills. I didn't mind using mine because I'm phasing out Spectrum Noir anyway, eventually in a couple of years, so I didn't mind using my supplies in this way. But you know, I wouldn't if otherwise. I probably wouldn't have even thought to do this, or thought that this would have been okay. Yupo paper is pretty pricey. I don't even know how much photo paper costs because I've never actually had any before. Again, it's just something that I found at my town for free at my town giveaway, that partial package, and it sparked that memory in my mind about using that in lieu of Yupo paper. So whether or not price-wise it's worth cheaping out and getting photo paper instead of Yupo paper, I don't know. I'm not the expert on that, but this is what we have. I did end up having enough fun with these techniques that if I was to find a really good deal on Yupo paper and alcohol inks and blending solution, all that stuff, I probably would invest, because that's how much fun. I didn't think that I was going to end up enjoying it as much as I did once I got the hang of it. I mean, obviously in the beginning it wasn't fun, and even then, you know, I'm sure that there's a lot more that you can do. I didn't have a straw, so you know, there's a whole technique where you can kind of blow air in a specific place to make very specific patterns, and I was not prepared. I didn't have all the right equipment. I've seen some other people on YouTube that are able to make beautiful brush stroke blended things, and I completely unprepared, and I didn't really do any practice with any of that. This is my one with the brush stroke, and I didn't really like the way that it dried. So I'm sure that there's a whole bunch more that you can do. For now, I had a lot of fun with this. I'm not going to run out and buy supplies to do actual alcohol inking, but if the opportunity presents itself in the future to score some supplies at a really good price, I'm going to pick up on that. So I hope that that helps. And also, if you also have been kind of wondering, oh gee, I really like that, but I wonder if photo paper would work. I didn't spend anything extra. I didn't buy anything extra to do this project other than the photo paper that I found yesterday. That was completely free. There's nothing beyond what you would normally find in my stash and in my bathroom in terms of the rubbing alcohol that we keep on hand for first aid. So, and we don't even use it all that often. I noticed that it's going to expire soon. Anyway, so that's what you have. I hope that you've enjoyed and that this has helped. If you have any questions or anything, go ahead and leave your questions down below. You will probably see incarnations of most of these being cut down and used in other projects, and I'll be sure to reference this video when that happens. Thanks very much for your very kind attention. I did happen to notice, if you guys recall from the beginning of the video, they smell quite heavily of cinnamon because I think somebody spilt a, actual cinnamon, like essential oil or whatever, on the actual paper, the Kodak box that these were held in, and the alcohol markers themselves seem to have dissipated a lot of the cinnamon smell from the actual papers themselves. So I'm going to leave these out because they're not quite dry and I keep getting my fingers even more dirty. Hey, by the way, it does take nail polish off, just an FYI. I'm going to let these dry probably for at least another hour or so, maybe even longer, until they're completely dry and I can stash them away. And maybe they'll air out a little bit more too. Thanks very much for your very kind attention and support. I appreciate it very much. Take care. Bye.